and welcome to the brand new episode of the Retro Toy Crusader with me, Elliot. In today's episode, we will be travelling to the Meridian Shopping Centre in Havant, Hampshire, where in the centre of the mall is a stall set up by a toy seller called Back to the Retro. Now, in the stall, there's so many vintage and nostalgic toys ranging from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. So settle in, come with me, and let's go check it out. Star Wars merchandise. You've got Lego over there. Ah, Mighty Max. I do want to start collecting some Mighty Max soon. Ah, I've got Police Camp Academy. Never seen them before. Only in videos. But that is cool. Kenner Beetlejuice. Lego minifigures. Oh, dinosaurs. Oh, look at that Jurassic Park. Junior Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh, Green Ranger. Absolutely my favourite Ranger of all time. Well, apart from when he became a White Ranger. Even more Mighty Max. Again, Mighty Max is definitely something I want to get into. But there's just so much to get into. Game Boys. Oh, talking Hulk Hogan. That is brilliant. I'm sure that's probably gone up in price now as he's passed away. Oh, even more Brave Star. If you watched the previous video, you would have seen that I saw a Brave Star and I'm obsessed with these. Now, what you see there are 3 action figures from the Brave Star toy line. You have Tex Hex, Outlaw Scuzz, and Thunderstick. As I previously mentioned in my last video, I loved the Brave Star cartoon. Couldn't get enough of it. And the toy line was always something that really eluded me. It just did not seem possible to be able to get the toys over where I was, in the south of England. I don't know if they were more readily available further north, in other areas of the country, but just something that I couldn't seem to get a hold of. Until my uncle went to America, got me the 3030 action figure, you know, the metallic horse, and I unfortunately dropped it all over the supermarket. The thing fell apart, bits all over the floor. Can't remember for the life of me if I was able to put it back together, but it's still something that really haunts me to today. So getting to see those figures out in the wild in that display cabinet really excited me. And again, as I've mentioned previously, I've only been collecting for a couple of years. There's so many different toy lines that I need to get into. This one, unfortunately, is an expensive one, but one day I'd like to dip my foot in and try getting one of the figures. So, watch this space. DC Superpowers. Even Dungeons and Dragons. Amazing. Oh, I've just seen that Brave Star book, analogue. That's brilliant. WWF ring. Amazing. So I'm a huge wrestling fan, and even today I watch it on a weekly basis. Something about the WWF Hasbro toy line really has nostalgic vibes. Just seeing those really clunky figures with practically no articulation, some action features, just really reminds me of when wrestling was, how do we say, there was a mystique behind it. You know, like the flamboyant characters like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, the Big Boss Man, you know, when kayfabe was a thing and you didn't get to peek behind the curtain. So that toy line really makes me reminisce and think about watching, you know, the old school WWF TV show. So again, it's not something that I've delved into as of yet. However, I really, really would like to start getting into those WWF figures. Yeah, there was quite a few good ones there. You know, you had Mountie, you had the Big Boss Man without his sunglasses. You know, that's a really cool variant. So definitely something that I'm going to look to get into quite soon. Obviously I'll be going for the more lower value ones, but again, with time, hopefully I could start getting those more rare and treasured ones. Your Ghostbusters Ecto-1. Unfortunately, I've only got the reproduction. I'd love to have the original because Toxic Crusader, love it. Street Sharks, Ghostbusters, Robocop, Hawking, Ultimate Warrior, My Pet Monster. I made it, the big one. Gremlins, Gambit. Oh, Jeepers Creepers, oh, it's his axe. Absolutely love the Jeepers Creepers films. Never seen that before. Creepers axe, amazing. So, it's just my opinion, but the Jeepers Creepers franchise is sorely underrated. I really enjoy the movies. Maybe not so the last one, however, 1 and 2 really enjoy. Love watching them on an autumnal evening, you know, seeing the crop fields and just the carnage that happens in those movies is just something that I absolutely love. So getting to see that replica axe in person really, really made me happy to see that. Now, I absolutely love Real Ghostbusters, and it's a shame he's not open today because I really want the Dracula. It's very difficult to get him with the cape, but as you can see there, he's got it. So when I originally got to the Meridian Shopping Centre and went to the stalls for Back to the Retro, unfortunately it was closed. But because it's out in the open, you can still see everything. They're all in cabinets, you know, locked away, but you still can get a really good look. So I was able to do my filming. However, you might have heard me mention that I saw the Real Ghostbusters Dracula. The Real Ghostbusters toy line, again, was something that I was obsessed with when I was a kid. I had the Firehouse, I had the Ecto-1, so I had all the figures. I even remember the smell of the slime, you know, from the slime pots that you used to put down the Firehouse. I then clocked the Real Ghostbusters Dracula with cape. He, I reckon, was probably my favourite toy of the line. Like, I'm actually still like obsessed with horror novels and especially Dracula. So it seems to have drifted off into my adult life, my obsession with the character. But the Dracula one was definitely my favourite of the toy line. So seeing him there in the cabinet with his cape, with no one around at that moment, I was gutted because I really wanted him. However, luckily, the owner turned up. Whilst fondling the Dracula action figure, checking out, making sure everything was okay, that the action feature still worked, and just admiring it, I also came across another, the zombie monster. That's one I didn't have when I was a kid. However, I saw it in the cabinet and I thought I definitely had to take a look. What did I do with that? What did you do earlier? Put it somewhere. I'll put it back in. Yeah, I don't see him very often.
No. What number are we?
Right. I love Thundercats. I love the cartoons. I love the toy line. One thing that I've noticed over the years when watching other vlogs is that they don't seem to get very much of a mention. It could very well be that they've been around for so long, people have collected them, that they're a bit boring to speak about. They're not sexy, you know, they're not mad balls, etc. So again, I really love looking at these toys. These are probably the toy line that I had the most of when I was a kid. You know, I had the Thunder Tank, I had the Mumra Lair. I remember that Father Christmas got me that, and opening that on Christmas Day was just magical. So whenever I get a chance to look at Thundercats figures, I just get really excited. I've got quite a few, however it's the more pricey ones that are eluding me at the moment. So getting to see Bengali in the cabinet, it really takes me back to my childhood. Unfortunately, I did have a Bengali when I was younger, even with the hammer. However, unfortunately, I went to stay at Butlins Bognor Regis, staying in one of the chalets. And then on a night that me and my mum went to the kids' entertainment, we came back finding that the door was ajar. It turns out that somebody had broken into the chalet, taken our belongings, like camera, wallet, money, and they even took my Jurassic Park backpack that had my Thunder Tank, it had my Panthro, it had my Lino, it had my Bengali in it. So unfortunately, my favourite Thundercats toys were stolen. Who steals a kid's Jurassic Park backpack full of toys? So yeah, it's a line that I'm building back up. I say I've got a lot of them, but it's the more pricey ones now that I'm going to be getting in the future. So, but again, I just love the toy line. So people, let's start talking about Thundercats again. So after deciding to pull the trigger on the Ghostbusters action figures, I got talking to the owner Charlie a bit. He was showing me some stuff that he had under the counters that is not yet priced up or not yet put on display, which was really cool to see some of the stuff that he's got upcoming. However, there was just something in particular that he had just recently got, and this was really cool to see.
And the hotcakes, there they are. 15 quid they are, without
Really?
the hotcakes. That's just the case.
Right.
Crazy, isn't it? Oh yeah, another drink, not flurry.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. What's in it?
So I believe that was a 2001 vintage McDonald playset. It's not anything I've ever seen before, especially not out in the wild. I don't even think I've seen it in any particular vlogs previously. So just getting to see something like that, but you know, before it's all priced up, was really cool to see. You know, with all the accessories, it's just not something that you see every day. There was no price at that point. However, when I went home, I looked on eBay, and one in July sold for about £180. So it's a really rare, like, interesting piece to see. You know, again, a bit of that nostalgia from, you know, back in the 80s, 90s McDonald's, where you had the colourful characters, and just again seeing stuff like that just takes me back to my childhood. And you know, let's be honest, that's why we get into toy collecting initially, is because it takes us back to when we were kids. You know, when we, you know, things didn't have to cost the world, but just a little bit of plastic, and that could see us out, for, you know, throughout for days, and we'd just be happy with anything that we got. So yeah, just seeing that McDonald's playset, really cool. So just to show you my purchases, there is the zombie monster from the Real Ghostbusters toy line. Has seen better days, but I was quite happy with that purchase. That one I bought for £20. And then on to the piece de resistance, the Dracula Kenner Real Ghostbusters action figure. And there you have it. That's our trip back to the retro at the Meridian Shopping Centre in Havant. Really worth going there and checking out what he's got. There's just such a variety of really cool things. Charlie, the owner himself, really nice guy, happy to have a chat with you. So if you do manage to get over there, feel free to ask any questions. So yeah, really enjoyed my time there. Just enjoyed seeing all the amazing toys that he's got. You know, again, it's just the ones that I love. And as I've said, you know, I'm starting out, as in I've only been doing this, you know, a couple of years. My collection isn't particularly vast. So what I think that means for me is that everything that I'm seeing, because I haven't got much, it's just like, wow, I'm loving everything. You know, I'm not getting bored of any particular toy lines. I want to get into all of them. So please stick along with me and let's see where this journey takes us. But before I do leave you, let's have a bit of a final thought. I've been thinking to myself, are there any particular toy lines that are current that, you know, we are missing upon? Even in the last 10 years, you know, it all seems to be going back to the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, and that we're kind of really interested in. But is there anything that's been out in the last decade, or again, currently, that we may not be missing, that we are missing, that we're not pulling the trigger on? So that got me searching on the internet, just looking on eBay, Vinted, etc. And I stumbled across something. Now, please let me know again in the comments if you've ever seen one of these. But let's take a look.
Hey, it's the Uglies! You're totally gross! Pet pal, open his mouth to burp, scrunch him up to fart!
I would say I don't know what his problem is, but he has got a hand up his arse at the moment, so. That is an Ugly. I think the actual line itself is that the Uglies, my gross best friend. Looking at it, what drew me to it is that it's a hand puppet. So it's very much like the Boglins. You know, as in that squishy face. You know, you can put your hand up, you move the face around, but it's electronic and it has you know various sounds. But it also kind of a bit of a like that Mad Balls theme. So I'm thinking that it's like a cross between Mad Balls and Boglins. Boglins again is one that I loved when I was younger. So I thought I'd take a punt on this. I have ordered another one, so I'll show you that when it arrives. I think I'm going to try and collect this toy line. I think there's only about 5 or 6 different ones, but I just really love the look of them. Very ugly, very funny, and that's all you can really ever ask for in a toy, isn't it? So yeah, please let me know if there's anything that you think that's been in the last 10 years or even as we speak, that you think could be a future collectible, and maybe it's something that we can look into exploring further. So thank you very much, and if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. Till next time.